All right, seeing red. This person is seeing red, seeing ginger, seeing red. Dear Beluga Belly Bill, you dude, I'm in shape. Don't come at me like that. Fairly long time listener here. Listening to you reply to that girl last week who asked about her ick regarding her boyfriend wanting to become a landlord didn't sit well with me. You yourself have on several occasions have lambasted the act of buying up extra housing, seeing how it drives up the price of all housing and makes it less available to people who actually need to live in. No, I'm not talking about an individual who wants to start buying rental properties. I'm talking about there's this corporation out there that's acting like they're three corporations and they're buying up all of the houses. And they're going to do to owning a house what Clear Channel did to radio. That's what I'm talking about. I never talked about an individual doing that. So if I didn't make myself clear, that's what I'm talking about. I understand that you meant that in the context of large corporations. Okay, so you heard me. However, you should not hate the player, but hate the game. Oh, that's deep. What the are you talking about? Don't hate the player, hate the game. So if you're dealing drugs, like I shouldn't be upset that you're putting drugs into the neighborhood because that's the game. So you're just excused from your behavior. That's first of all, don't hate the player, hate the game is not an original thought. Okay, you're speaking in sound bites. And the game of hoarding basic resources of survival for profit at the expense of your neighbors in need is a game worth hating. All right, so what side are you on here? She was completely correct that landlords do not add value to society. They degrade it, and it's a dream to lord over. She's not completely right. You're speaking in absolutes here. You want to hear landlords talk about their nightmare clients, their nightmare rental people? I've had salt of the earth landlords, and then I dealt with corporations where I never even got my deposit back, and had people in the building steal from my apartment. And they did nothing from it. Yeah, you're speaking in absolutes. All right, for someone to own a rental property, first of all, you rent until you can afford to buy. So they are providing a service. Now, as long as they're not like a slumlord and refusing to fix stuff and being a cheap, then there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. Anyway, to lord over others and extract wealth from them like that. You're trying to excuse it by saying that most renters treat the property like and it's... So let me ask you, so what are you supposed to do? Just be gifted a property? Is that what you're saying? I don't understand why. I think because most of you guys rent, and so you're in this victim mentality. I don't know. I rented for a long time. I got absolutely and then I had a few sweethearts. So I don't know. Anyway, let's go. Let's move on. You're trying to excuse it. I'm not trying to do anything. I gave you my opinion. I hate when people present their opinion and then the way they start redefining what you said. I wasn't trying to excuse it. I don't think being a landlord needs to be excused. I don't think there's anything wrong with an individual owning a couple of rental properties, and if they keep them up nice, and treat the people that rent them there fairly and rent it for a fair price, I don't think there's anything wrong with providing that service. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But anyways, evidently I'm trying to excuse it by saying that most renters treat the property like that is true. Most renters do treat property like shit. Most people rent a car and they feel it's an excuse to beat the out of it. Anyway, and it's difficult to manage the properties and yada yada is bull at the end of the day. It's not, you know what you sound like? Someone who never rented anything to anybody. It's passive income through the exploitation, and it's a dream to have. Oh, God. Spare me. It makes me question if you're serious about retiring and become a slumlord. Oh, is it really making you question that? Do you have to get this dramatic? Because that doesn't deserve support. According to who? You? I just the that people focus on. You're going to focus on an individual with one or two rental properties, and meanwhile, the entire food supply has been turned into poison. Politicians can be bribed. They can insider trade. We get involved in these never-ending wars for profit for a small amount of people. They've completely bankrupted the country. There's no more middle class. But some person with two properties is lording over people. Buddy, you know something? I'm just going to give thanks that I am never going to meet you. Because you should go hang out with that chick where it gives her the ick. That was the male version of it. Oh, my God. Ugh. How ignorant was his opinion? It was just 100% all to one side. Okay, I'm not the brightest guy, but at least I was saying there's some good landlords, some bad landlords, some good tenants, some bad tenants. Okay? And that's basically it. All landlords lording over people. I love how they're using that lording away. Is it because lord is in the word landlord? What about Walmart lording over every small town in the middle of nowhere? Why don't you start with them instead of some jerk off with two family houses? Lady listener and lady landlord writing. Another thing too is you can lose your in real estate. Okay, you can lose your. You don't just buy rental properties and just sit back and just rake in the money. As a homeowner, I can tell you this. Al Madrigal says it the best. He says owning a home is like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. And if you know anything about that, the second they get done with it, they have to start over again. It's just nonstop, something breaking, something has to get fixed. I've owned this house for I don't know how many years. I've had to replace everything from the main sewer line out to the front, the air conditioning, door locks, roof, the whole goddamn thing. I feel like I rebuilt the whole house. And guess what? More happening. So, I don't know. I think this is people who don't understand business, and it's just their idea of what being a landlord is that you just sit back and put your feet up on. It's like when people think you own a business. You own a business, and then, he just sits back and everybody else does the work. No. That's not what happens. When you own a business, you never get a day off. You have to be down there every day because if you don't, people aren't going to work because they don't give a People will steal from your business because they don't give a I will say that. That is the biggest thing that I've learned going through show business and all of that is that the way I viewed people who had their own TV show or were selling tickets and blah, 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 blah. I just pictured them with their goddamn feet up. And it's like, no. When you get to that level, you are going to have to work 10 times harder than where you are right now when you don't have jack. You can have 10 times more responsibility. And the whole time you're working your ass off to not fall all the way back down the other side of the mountain. You got your head on a swivel to try to watch to make sure people don't steal from you, and they still do. I don't know. Whatever. I'll forgive both of those people. I'll just say you're young and you haven't lived enough life. Yes, that was passive-aggressively condescending.